Welcome to the 118th episode of the Nerdom and Other Nonsense anime podcast. Today we are bringing you the second half of our winter 2020 season first impressions, based on the first few weeks of shows that have aired. As always, we include these weird things called timestamps. I don't know. If you like them, then they're in the description below. Since we spoil literally everything, my name is Kat, and I recently directed the anime of my dreams. But after 3 episodes, it got canceled by Funimation. Those fucking bastards. Please donate to my GoFundMe so I can release it on Pornhub. Also with me are Leo and Bcom.
I'll watch your anime, Kat.
You know what? It's what the people want. Give them what they want. Okay?
I've read the anime.
I'm just saying. It seems like they're very excited about it. So
Interspecies Reviewers would be the anime of your dreams, Kat. It really would.
Hey, I have not watched the 3rd episode. But from what you've said, it's about people swapping bodies and fucking in other people's bodies. This is always something that I have wanted to do. Okay, think about it.
Sounds great.
Wouldn't it be interesting to be a man and know what it's like to fuck as a man? And then, you'll know both sides, right? Like, for you, Bcom, wouldn't you, if you could, just once have sex as a girl, just so you know?
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great.
Just to know. Just so you know. You know the other side of it.
Especially if it was with another girl.
I feel like you'd have to do it both ways. Like, if you're a dude, you have to be like, all right, now I'm going to have gay sex. All right, now I'm going to have straight sex. Just so you know,
I don't know why it's so
had
funny
all the
to me.
experiences.
I would say
horizons.
Having sex as the opposite sex, you would learn a couple tricks because you'd be like, oh, they should do this. I should do this instead next time.
I think it would be great.
I've been doing this wrong the whole time.
Okay, no, I think it would be great as a like a marriage bonus or something. Like if the real world worked like a video game, like when you get married, you just get to swap bodies with your partner for the first month. Like you're just both the best sexual partner either of you could ever have. Like divorce rates just go way down. Like way fucking down. People who are like, I can't afford to get divorced, man. I only get this perk once. I wasted it on this bitch. Like I have to stay with her. I'll never have as good of sex as I will have with her. I know she's annoying, but damn it.
Wow. Whew.
The true state of marriage in America.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Bcom, with your nonsense, I feel like you're going backwards with technology.
Yeah. I made a huge technological leap recently. I went to my local library and I got a library card so I could take out physical books.
You fucking nerd.
You know that you did it just to get Fate Zero. Come on.
No, I had Fate Zero.
Oh, okay. Because it says under this, also finished Fate Zero. And I'm like, did you go there to rent it?
Unrelated news, watched Fate Zero.
Okay, I was like, well, then that's why you got the library card. Like, let's not fuck around. Okay.
No, it's like, I want to read some of these classic books that I never read so I can be, like, more learned, and knowledgeable.
Did you know, in your infinite knowledge, that a lot of those classic books, you don't need to actually buy them anymore because they're public domain, and you can just go.
Yeah. Okay. So also, I'm kind of like, I just like having really good editions of those books, though, because like some of like the most popular books you can actually just download for free from like Amazon as like their Kindle ebooks. Mm-hmm. But also like those versions kind of suck. Like I don't like any of those versions that I've read.
Are you sure you're not just stuck up and like money?
Yes, I'm totally sure that I am stuck up and a huge elitist.
Yes.
I like having the book in my hands, though. One of the books I took out was Don Quixote, and that book is fucking gigantic, and I can't hold it. It's so uncomfortable to hold it in my hands while I'm reading it. It's like a tome of knowledge, and it's ridiculous. It is really funny, though, so I'm enjoying it a lot.
I think it's a lot. I feel like they should do those in volumes, like books like that.
Well, I guess it came originally in different parts, but now it's just all like one big book.
Why have we done that? That's a bad idea.
It's just convenience to keep it all together, but yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Is it convenient, Bcom, when you're holding
not
it?
Not super convenient, no.
Well, it's easier to keep track of one thing instead of 5 different things. So
that's true. I would lose it immediately. Yeah, I finished Fate Zero, which was like basically the last Fate I watched, which is kind of a weird way to do it. But like a lot of people say, you know, watch the whole Fate series or play the VN all the way through Heaven's Feel and then go back to Fate Zero because otherwise you get spoiled on certain plot points, which is true. But I also don't think it's actually that important. But man, Fate Zero is really, really good. It's definitely better than anything else Fate. It's just extremely well written. All the characters are like stupid fascinating to watch, like especially all of like the kingly servants like Saber and Iskandar and Gilgamesh are all freaking fantastic. I love the episode where they all sit down and talk about what it means to be a true king. All their fights are amazing. The relationship between Ryder and Waver Velvet is hilarious. And I really, really like Amiya Kiritsugu and his backstory a lot as well. That was one of the darkest but also coolest things about Fate Zero, I think. It's just amazing how much interesting backstory they gave basically everything that was everybody that was a part of that Holy Grail War, like especially compared with like Fate Stay Night, like Unlimited Blade Works or something. Like I like those characters too, but the ones in Fate Zero have so much more depth to them, and it's so much more tragic. I do think one of my main complaints about Fate Zero, I guess specifically second season, is it got very strangly towards women, which was not fun. But other than that, it was pretty brilliant series.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Kat? What you been up to?
I love how you wrote on here "got crunk."
Oh, I thought you wrote that.
No,
I was like, oh, wow.
That was totally Leo. Yeah, no. I did.
Well,
I
it's
did.
true.
Yeah. I slept 2 hours last night. It was fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went down to Muncie. Went to a club there. It was fun. It
Cool.
was fun. Let's see. I don't know. There's Valentine's Day. I did, all the bullshit you're supposed to do on Valentine's Day.
Aw, very cute.
Oh, you mean stay inside and don't go out to eat because every place is fucking packed to the walls?
Yeah. We just ordered
Did you
it
receive chocolate?
I made chocolate.
Oh, very nice.
Actually, I didn't make chocolate. I made crème brûlée, but I made it.
I was going to say, did you put the chocolate on yourself? Because it sounds like something you would do.
No one should be doing that. People who put chocolate on other people and eat it off sexually are fucking weird, and they need to die immediately. I'm sorry.
Did you bring the chocolate to school and put it in your boyfriend's locker and hope that you get a response?
Considering my boyfriend is like a parking enforcement person, like I'm pretty sure if I brought a box to his work and put it on there in his locker, they'd be like, it's a bomb, and like there'd be like a panic. He'd be calling me like, why did you do this? We have to wait for the bomb squad.
Oh boy.
No. I just made a creme brulee and we ordered food and we ate it at home. It was chill. I'm not really cool. Valentine's Day has to be the most dramatic big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Good for you.
Yeah, I think it's so weird. And also, like I said, if you are buying chocolate to put on someone and lick off of them, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? If genitals are at all involved, that is a recipe for disaster. Someone is getting a yeast infection. You're going to look like you just ate shit. Like, literally. You're going to look like you ate someone's ass and it went wrong. Like, don't do that to yourself. Okay?
But it tasted so good.
Like, I'm just saying. All right.
It would be like the koala from that stupid show this season. Seton Academy.
Something Academy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What I've been up to is my Xbox Game Pass was going to run out at the end of this month.
Oh, no.
Not the Game Pass, just the Xbox Live. So I went ahead and upgraded to the Xbox Game Pass. because it comes with a bunch of free, like a ton of free, like really, really good games. Like the $5 extra you pay a month compared to like a year's worth of Xbox Live, you get your fucking money's worth. There's like The Witcher 3's in there, like crazy games.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games.
There's
at this
a lot
point,
of like high profile games. I'm like, otherwise you would have tried to get them before, you just paid $60. Mm-hmm. So I started playing The Outer Worlds, and I literally finished minutes before recording this podcast. I think I put 21 hours into it, and I did every single side quest and everything. Though when I did finish, I still hadn't found one companion. I don't know how I skipped them, but whatever. So there's a little bit of extra stuff I apparently missed, but that's a really, really good game. And like all these decisions you make changes the ending. The things you do with your companions, the different corporations you side with or take down, it changes the ending. And it's all, you're just trying to save this colony called Halcyon. And I managed to do it, but now I want to do a second playthrough. I just want to go through it and just fucking destroy everything for fun and just see what that ending comes out as. But since I just finished that, I got like 8 other games that already pre-downloaded, and I'm gonna check those out and start playing those.
Very cool.
Nice. Wow, that's a lot of games. You have a lot of hard drive space there.
I have just one external. Nope. Sorry, 2. There is 2 external hard drives on my Xbox.
Nice.
Both solid state. There's one thing that drove me crazy about playing The Outer Worlds. You would get a mission, and like I said, solid state drive, so this is as fast as this damn thing can load. You would grab your mission, you're on your ship, you're like, go here and talk to So-So. All right, you go there, and then you load out of your ship, so you're at a loading screen. Okay. You go and talk to the person. They go, oh, I need you to go outside the gates of the city to go kill this thing. That's a loading screen. You go kill the thing, do the whatever. You got to go back into the city. That's a loading screen. Talk to the person. You go back to your ship, which is a loading screen. You go to the next place, which is another loading screen. It's like in like a 30-minute span, it feels like you spend 20 minutes in a loading screen.
That's frustrating.
Other than that, the game's fantastic, but that drove me nuts. Like, my phone was next to me with Twitter up. Like, as soon as I went to the loading screen, I just start scrolling through Twitter. It's the only way I could get through it. It was, That
reminds me of Bloodborne back in the day. That had the worst loading screens.
Hold on. And this is the guy that's used to Destiny 2, which has the worst loading times fucking ever.
That reminds me, I just played a tiny bit of The Division 2 because it was on sale for like $3 this week. And one thing that really annoyed me about The Division 2 was the loading screens because they're super long. And I was comparing them to Destiny because like Destiny had the good sense to let you just basically pretend like you're flying around in a spaceship anytime it's loading. And it's like, oh, this is pretty. The Division 2 is just like a boring looking menu as you like wait for people to get in your game. It's like, oh, I hate this. This is bad. But yeah, whatever. The game is okay. Division 2 is like a decent way to pass the time with a friend or two, but it's not very good.
Man, you said it was for $3?
Yeah, it's like super cheap right now. Yeah.
Damn.
That's the only reason I picked it up. Cool. Anywho, we've got more anime to talk about. The rest of the anime that we didn't cover in our previous episode. So should we get started on that?
Yes. Okay. So Plunderer.
Quality first, quality anime.
Jesus.
Okay, so like this actually, it's a blatant fan service grab.
Yeah,
but super rapey about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not otherwise a terrible show. It's got some interesting ideas in it, like the idea that like everyone in the world has a number, and the number is like related to their life goal or something in their life that's important to them. That's an interesting plot device. Like objectively,
it allows for like a lot of character development, like or like one-off stories for sure. Like,
yes,
for characters,
but they don't do that.
Well, not in the first couple episodes, at least. Yeah,
yeah, and the idea, like you can challenge someone with a higher number than you, and all that. Like it seems interesting. I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, and like if your number goes to 0, you get dragged to the abyss. Is that right?
Yeah,
something like that, or similar enough.
Yeah, but like, okay, so Hina, the main character in this, it seems to me that like every female character in this series, the number will be placed somewhere on their genitals. Or near enough to their fucking genitals.
Or on their breasts, like there's that other woman in the town, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little frustrating. Basically, the fact that Hina's number is like up, like way up in her inner thigh, like would have to touch her panties pretty much to see it.
Up there next to the Gucci.
Yes. So there's a lot of scenes basically of what it looks like people trying to force like oral sex on Hina, basically.
Or force her legs
much.
open.
Yeah, a lot of like
even
open
the
up.
hands from the abyss, which is a person, forces her legs open and touches her number.
Yeah,
it's just like
it touches
what the
her number.
fuck?
That's an interesting metaphor now.
It's basically like a baseball metaphor. The Houston Astros forcing open opposing catchers' legs so they can steal their signs, like they did in 2017. Stealing the World Series from the Yankees. But I digress.
But anyway, there's a lot of like, yeah, no, please don't. And like a lot of licked being like, but I'm so hungry. And like they're basically implying like, and actually that's kind of interesting because I've never seen an anime like imply oral sex before. There's not a lot of
it doesn't happen often,
yeah.
But it happens.
It does, but like usually it's like a blowjob implication, like
True.
not an eating out implication. So I was like, all right, it's new, it's different, it's still pervy as fuck, but okay. Yeah.
If that wasn't in there, I think I would enjoy the show. I think it would be pretty interesting. I mean, I thought the fight was cool in the second episode.
I was annoyed how Hino was just like crying over everything and just like was in his arms for like half of the second episode as he like flew around with his superpowers. I don't know. I was just like, ugh, this is boring. But she's cute. I mean, like, I'm not going to deny that Hina isn't like a cute girl. Like, I mean, sure, if you're into that, that's great. But I just don't really like the main character that much. Like, even after he reveals he's like a quote-unquote good guy, he's already like sexually harassed the main character multiple times. There is that scene in episode 1 where he just starts getting kicked back and forth by various women in the village, which was fun. Like, it just goes on for like a pretty long time, and that felt good.
But it doesn't make up for him being a total piece of garbage.
If you wonder why this anime is like a little bit pervy, it is from the director of Ore Imo, so that might make sense. But yeah. I don't know. I'll probably watch like 1 or 2 more episodes just to see what happens after the first 2 episodes, because it was mostly an introduction.
Yeah, this is I have read a decent amount of this manga, but I don't remember anything about it really. Like, I was just watching, I was like, oh, this was familiar, but I don't remember really what. I think it just goes like batshit crazy after this, and just I don't know, like the creator was just pulling like ideas left and right out of everywhere and just accepting them all. Like, crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
like,
now
speaking
we have a really
of other
wholesome show.
Some fucking
we have
some fucking
wholesome show.
pandering bullshit called Nekopara.
What are you talking about? This is a very wholesome show about cats.
So where all women have cat ears. But
no, not all women. Not all women. Like, his sister Shigure is human.
Okay, but
she doesn't
like,
have cat ears.
To me, all right, if we're gonna be real about the plot, to me, this is just slavery, except with
yes,
cat
it
ears.
Is. It totally is. It totally fucking is.
I didn't watch the show. The show is Nekopara.
So in this show, people like, you know, engender like cat-eared, cute little girls into slavery and make them work for no pay for their restaurant, basically.
In the visual novel, it's so weird because there's a lot of lines that basically say that like he views them as his daughters and they view him as a father, but then they also have sex. And they're also like a master-servant relationship, and it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Also, like, there's this whole thing about like how the cats have to get a bell that they wear around their neck, which allows them to go outside on their own. Basically, it's like it marks that they're adults And so as soon as they get their bell in the visual novel, it's time for the hentai scenes to come around.
Oh
Is
my
this
god!
like
They
that
even
creepy gay anime where when they lose their virginity, like they lose their cat ears or something?
Oh, maybe, I don't know. That sounds
the cat girls
interesting.
even have breeds. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, they're different kinds of cats. Yeah.
I'm looking here. Coconut's a Maine Coon, so if you ever wanted to fuck a Maine Coon.
Oh,
She's a
God.
big girl.
You should you should fucking bring that up with Mitsuki.
Oh, poor Neil. I heard Neil wasn't doing so good. I send my best wishes out to Neil the cat.
Yeah. But no, seriously, like, to me, this is really disgusting. It's basically fetishization of slavery. It's like, you were outraged at that Doreiku anime we covered, but love this. So really what you're saying...
Oh, I don't love this. I just laugh at this.
Really what you're saying, Bcom, is it's fine as long as it's cute enough. Only when it's serious don't you like it.
They did add a new cat that is not in the games, by the way. The little homeless cat that they find is a new character, and they seem to be basing a lot of this show around her.
And it's a little girl, too. Huh.
Yeah, a little kitten. She's not trained. She does not have a bell. You know, they got to domesticate her for the master.
Wow.
Yeah, Nekopara is all sorts of messed up, especially if you actually play the visual novel. But the show is way more toned down from the visual novel, but it's still got its moments where it's like, oh, this is weird. But yeah, it's pretty funny, though, to just, have fun with. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I don't think there's anything more to really be said about it.
Move on.
All right. The Case Files of Jeweler Richard. This is from a novel. And the studio Shuka directed, they did 91 Days, which I really liked, and a bunch of later seasons of Durara. And the director, Taro Iwasaki, directed Sweetness and Lightning, and also something called Ryoko's Case File, which I'd never heard of before, but I guess this person does case file shows, so... I watched the first 2 episodes of this, and I actually rewatched the first episode today because I had watched it a long time ago, and it didn't necessarily get my attention. But I thought it was more interesting the second time around. Just the stuff that's about the women in the first episode, where this is basically a Sherlock Holmes show, by the way, where there's a blonde guy named Richard, and then a Watson-esque character named Seigi. And Seigi goes to Richard, who is a jeweler, because he has a ring with a special pink Podparacha stone in it that he wants Richard to value or evaluate, I guess is how you would say that. Because it's been bothering his grandma for many years, because basically his grandmother stole the ring 50 years ago because she was a single mother in Japan and had basically no prospects for taking care of her daughter. And so she felt like she had to do this. And so Seigi basically wants to figure out who the original owner was of this ring and go apologize so his grandmother can finally have closure after all this time. But then when he goes to apologize, he finds the woman, or Richard tracks down the purchase history and finds the woman. And they talk to her, and she's basically like, well, actually, that ring to me at that time was something that kept me in a cage, because she was basically going to be in an arranged marriage. She was in an engagement with an arranged marriage person, blah, blah, husband. And
arranged marriage person.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better. Oh, jeez. So, yeah, she basically felt trapped, and she actually felt like when the ring was taken from her that she was free, and she never had any bad feelings towards the woman who stole the ring from her, because she felt maybe they were in the same kind of powerless situation. So that was kind of interesting, actually.
It was a little bit. I don't know. I just found it to be a little one-dimensional. I just didn't get any depth out of this.
Yeah. I thought that Richard was kind of boring as a Sherlock. By episode 2, the only things that were really interesting about him, I say interesting in quotes, are that he likes his royal milk tea prepared a very specific way, and that he's also pretty politically correct. Like I say politically correct. He's just kind of like telling Seigi, who starts to work for him, like, please don't discriminate against my customers. Because like an Arab guy comes in and he's like wearing traditional clothing, and Seigi says after he leaves, like, man, that guy must be really hot. And Richard's like, could you like not, bro? Just like completely misunderstanding and just being oblivious. Yeah. I don't know. And there's like a whole interesting thing in the second episode about the woman is, there's a woman who comes to Richard's shop to get a ruby evaluated, and it turns out that she is a lesbian, but she's trying to force herself to marry a guy who proposed to her because she wants to live a quote-unquote normal life by like society's standards, but she can't bring herself to do it. It's like making her physically ill to try to go against like what she actually wants. And so she sort of figures that out over the course of the episode. She also cuts her hair at the end of the episode, which is a trope I hate.
Oh, I hate that trope so much.
It is a thing that people do, to be fair.
It is. Yeah, it's like something that totally happens. I don't know. This show is like vaguely interesting. It doesn't have much of like really of a hook that will keep me
there's just not a soul to the show, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, it's weird. Sometimes you'll watch shows and everything on paper seems good. You're watching it, it's all right. But there's just something about it. There's not that depth. It's not here. It's just not.
All right, we had cat girls, but what if we had cat and dog boys this season? UchiTama, have you seen my Tama?
Oh my god, this fucking stupid show.
Didn't watch this one either.
Wow, this is an original show. I didn't even realize that.
That's awful.
Oh, it's from the director of Kuma Miko as well.
Wait,
another
it's from Studio Mappa?
Show.
What the fuck, Mappa?
Well, and like Lappin Track, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's I mean, it does look kind of nice, I would say. Like, the character designs are kind of nice, so I guess I can see that. But it's a spin-off of this Tama and Friends franchise. I was getting some huge whiplash during this first episode, because, like, it was making me question some things, because this is an anime that did not choose when they did the anthropomorphic, like, dog and cats, because they also show them at various times in their like natural cat or dog form, and then other times in their human form with like little dog ears or little cat ears. And that led to some awkward moments. Like, there's like one scene where I started feeling awkward where there's this fucking dog guy who is sleeping next to his dog house with like a leash on the ground next to him, and they show him in his human form with like the leash next to him. And I'm like, wait, so like if he was wearing this leash, he'd have like a leash around his human neck, and he lives in a doghouse as like a human dog thing. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'm going to stop thinking about this. And then the thing that really creeped me out was, like, the show knew as well, is when the two main characters, who are Tama and Pochi, cat and dog guy, walk past this cat that's feeding 3 kittens. And I just leaned back and I was like, show me the human form of this scene, guys. Like,
oh, God.
I want to see what this looks like. And I was like, oh, you cowards, you wouldn't show it. Of course not. I don't know. It's just weird how they flip back and forth between the two things. It just was really strange to me. It should just be like a cute show, like about dog and cat people like having fun together, I guess. But it becomes way more weird when you actually think about the human form of everything.
I guess. I don't know. I just found it to be sort of pointless, and there's not a lot going on, and it's just, I don't know. There's not a lot to it.
Yeah, I think there were some like decent voice actors in the show, so that's nice, but yeah, didn't get much out of this one.
Listen, it's just sort of like, oh, this cat is lost. Wander around the neighborhood for a while. We found the cat. Like, that was the episode.
I can't believe you guys spent the time to even watch this.
Well, someone has to say how shitty things are. Someone has to come to tell you the real shit, like how it really is.
Gotta let the people know what's really going down.
Exactly.
All right, the next show. If my favorite pop idol made it to Budokan, I would die, which is on Funimation.
I don't even remember seeing this title when I was making my list of anime.
Okay, so
really?
this is slightly interesting because this show is about it's about two things. It's about like the idol industry and what that's actually like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Then also there's the less realistic what it's about, which is this idol falling in love with her fan.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
yeah,
so
that's like the heart of the show.
Any
like
fan's dream.
I guess, but it's also like weird. Like that's a boundary that shouldn't really be crossed. Like idols falling in love with their fans. There's a lot of issues with that because, I mean, I think that kind of endangers idols if people think that they have like a chance. Because there should be really like a boundary there, and usually people stick to that boundary. Though there's often like stalkers. Like,
isn't it? Yeah, but in like Japan, like idols get in trouble for having boyfriends because they're supposed to be perceived as being obtainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Unobtainable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and, no, that's the difference. See, they're supposed to be seen as unattainable, so that not attainable. Because I think the idea that Leo is going off of is, well, if it feels like I could date her, then I will like her more. But really, the idea is that like no one can date her because she's pure and innocent and too perfect for anyone in this world.
Oh, I don't get that at all. I totally get the other one.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I really think it's more of the unattainable thing.
No, because when they get a boyfriend, then they are unattainable. They're being taken.
True.
That's how I view it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, no one who's dating someone is unattainable. Like you could steal them away.
Like I know. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I really like the director of this anime. Yusuke Yamamoto directed Welcome to the NHK, which is a really weird and great show. Yamada's First Time, which is like a classic like ecchi show. And I don't know, like I like that the main character, her name is Arapio. She's the like huge stalker fan of this idol group. She's voiced by Ai Feruz, who voiced Hibiki from Dumbbell. So she's good. I like her, and she's fun, and it's fun to look at from like the perspective of like stalker idol fans, because like I have some friends who are stans of like K-pop groups and stuff, and so just like to see it from their side of the thing, where like they go to like the stupid events, they buy like 10 CDs so they can get like a signing place in line and stuff like that. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
The waste of it all is really kind of gross to me. Because the idea that she's paid so much for all these CDs that she'll never use.
Yeah, and then like the only problem is that it feels like, I mean, Mina is the idol who she really likes in the group. Mina is obviously has feelings for her, but she's way too shy to like ever say anything about it. And even if she did, Arapio is like way too oblivious to ever think that Mina would like say something like that to her, because she thinks that her shyness means that she actually doesn't like her, yet she still stands for her. I don't know. It's gonna get drawn out for a really long time as they do other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it is something you can watch it and be interested in it. I feel like it won't be boring. It has a heart and a soul to the show. I find the whole Mina being in love with her thing very unrealistic. I may watch a few more episodes just for shits and giggles, but I don't think it's a winner, but it's not a loser either as an anime.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It on Crunchyroll, which is from Zero G Studio, and the director Toru Kitahata directed Hinako Note and Haganai Next. It's based on a web manga. So yeah, it's basically like these two scientists in a lab, a girl and a guy, who are clearly in love with each other, but they're also the biggest nerds ever, and so they feel like they need to scientifically prove their love. Otherwise, it can't be real. Like, if it was real, there would be an empirical way to prove that they're in love with each other. So basically, in each episode, they do a various number of experiments, like checking their heart rate when they get closer to each other and all these different things. And it's kind of fun, I don't know, in a really nerdy way. Some of it is pretty cheesy too, so it's like it depends on your tolerance for cheese, how much you're gonna like it. And also the main girl has a ponytail that wags back and forth like a dog's tail and is very cute. And that's about it.
Main girl has a dog's tail? What?
No, she has a ponytail that wags back and forth when she gets excited. Like a dog's tail.
Okay. Jesus.
Kat, didn't you watch this?
I did.
I thought you liked it or something. I don't know.
It was, I started out liking it. I was excited for the show. I watched it, and it just doesn't, like, I don't know. Like, there's not, it just seems like it's a bunch of cutesy shit from episode to episode. It's like, oh, look how cute. They're holding hands. Oh, look how cute. They're smushed against a wall together. Oh, look at them blush. Ah, ha, ha. It's cute. There doesn't seem to be a lot of, like, plot progression or, like, real meaning to the show. I was kind of hoping for something different.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was wrong. Oh, well.
I also think the side characters are, like, just okay. Like, they have their moments, but it's nothing, like, spectacular. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that one game show about two otakus that fall in love was only 11 episodes, and it had a lot more plot than this. Let's just put it that way.
True.
Yep. I don't know what you're talking about.
What was that show called, Bcom?
Wait, the fucking game show one? I don't know which one you're talking about, actually.
The one with the romance about people who meet online who, like, fall in love.
I do know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name right now.
Video game one.
Recovery of an MMO Junkie?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna, yeah. So, like, it reminded me of, like, a failed version of that. Like, that had a lot more plot in it than this. And even that was, like, kind of a failure in the end. So I'm just sort of like, why have they created this? A failed version of a failed thing. So,
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
I wanted it to be something. I was excited for it. I was like, let's do it. And then it kind of let me down. So
I don't know. I think the characters are kind of cute, but that's about it. The humor's just not there. Yeah. All right. So next show, Smile Down the Runway on Funimation. It's based on a manga. This is from Studio Ezola, who did Happy Sugar Life, and it's from the same director, Nobuyoshi Nagayama, who did Happy Sugar Life and Are You Lost? Not my favorite directing track record, though. Some of Happy Sugar Life is pretty bonkers and fun. It's just the ending.
Happy Sugar Life is fun.
Yeah.
Sure, if you want to say that.
This is a very different show than that, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically about a girl named Chiyuki who really, really wants to be a fashion model, but she's short. And if you're short...
She unfortunately quit growing at, like, 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they, like, expect her to keep growing, but she didn't. Yeah.
And then her family's, like, really shitty about it. They're like, well, you can't be a model now.
It's her dad who has the modeling business.
Yeah.
And she wants to, he's like the president, and she really wants to model, but she's like always does tryouts and never makes it, basically because they just reject her because she's too short. She's not tall enough. Even though the rest of her body is like perfect across the board.
Yeah, it's like perfectly proportioned to be a model. It's just she's shorter than everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. But
and then
what I love about her is that she never gives up and she never lets it get her down. And I love characters like that. If you're going to get me to like a drama show, I need characters that can be positive and know how to get themselves out of a funk, or just not get in the funk in the first place. And that's what really kills dramas for me, when people are like, oh, I'm so sad. There's another show we'll get to where I'm just like, immediately just hate this character. I'm like, you can just please go get some therapy and talk to somebody. And like, I'll bring that back up later on, but like, I love this. I love this positive, outgoing character. And even the second main character, Ikuto, even he is like something kind of gets at him for a second. He's like, oh, but then he's like, you know what? I'm going to pull through. I'm going to do this. And then he'll use like Chiyuki as like his inspiration. I'm like, yes, I love this.
Yeah, they kind of feed off each other because Ikuto is he wants to be, or he's aspiring to be a fashion designer. And so they kind of get thrust together and help each other out throughout the show.
Yeah.
And like he gets really nervous, he gets really overwhelmed, especially once he starts like working with other like really experienced like fashion designers who are like, you ain't shit, Ikuto. And he's like, oh yeah, but I can try really hard anyway.
Yeah, that's really interesting when he's like, you're fired, like,
yeah,
get out of my shop. I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty like positive show, and it's kind of just I kind of like seeing Ikuto's side of the story, and it's interesting because most of the first episode was kind of from Chiyuki's perspective, but then I was kind of warned by people that like the show shifts a lot towards Ikuto for most of it. He's basically the main character of the show, but it's interesting to me because I'm kind of fascinated to see people design clothes because it is such like a weird, like an intricate process, and I don't know.
It's definitely different. Yeah. It's definitely a different thing.
Yeah, I've never watched anything like this. So this is completely new to me. I also like how fast pace is. Like by the end of the first episode and then going into the beginning of the second episode, they throw them into this modeling fashion designing world already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm glad you didn't take 3 episodes to get here. Like this is they're there. They're now doing it. This is their thing. And it's awesome. I want to see if they can survive. That's cool. That's cool. I like the fast pace.
Yeah, it's moving quickly. It's really good. Yeah, I appreciate that as well. And I think they've introduced some interesting side characters already that are promising. It's not like everything has to depend on these two or else it fails. Like the other characters that they're introducing are either interesting mentors or like nice like foils for the main characters in different ways. And so I think it's a pretty well put together show in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will probably continue to watch this whether we cover it or not, which tells you something.
Yeah, same with me. I've been watching it week to week. Yeah. All right, the next show, the long-awaited season 4, Haikyu to the top.
Yes.
Oh no!
Based on the manga from Studio Production IG, and the director Masako Sato, who's worked on all previous seasons of Haikyu as an episode director, but now he's the full director, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, and so I watched like the 2-episode like OVA that was like it premiered the same day as the first episode of this new season as well, and that was cool because it was just sort of like a side story arc about some of the other teams that they've faced previously, and it just gave you a bunch of fun character interactions between them. And that's something that Haikyu has just done so well over the course of like the first 3 seasons is get you invested in the rival teams just as much as the main team, Karasuno. And that's so important in a sports anime to give you reasons to be invested in like the people that you're eventually going to beat or not, or you're going to lose to along the way, and why they are as great as they are, and why they are good players, and why you should even care that they're beating them. So yeah, and then this season started off getting everything right back into the competition between Hinata and Kageyama. Like immediately, they're just like, oh, we're getting new measurements. Oh, and Hinata grew like 1 millimeter more than Kageyama, and he's like super pumped about that. But yeah, like this first episode is pretty rough for Hinata because it's just like a bunch of bad news for him, one thing after the other. Because after growing 1 more millimeter, everything goes wrong for him because he doesn't have as high of a jumping reach as Kageyama. And then he gets the news that Kageyama got selected for like the All Japan under-19 volleyball team, which is a huge honor. Basically means you're on track for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And, Hinata's like, what about me? And, the advisor's like, well, you didn't get picked. And then Tsukishima gets picked for like the all prefecture team. And Hinata's like, what about me? And he's just like, nope, not you. And it's Hinata's really good, but like he's not a well-rounded player. He's just really great at what he does, which is like jump and spike and sometimes block shots, and that's basically it. So it makes sense that he wouldn't get picked for one of these teams. And he's also short. Like, let's be honest, like, people are not going to typically pick a really short kid to be like their attacking spiker on the volleyball team.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he gets looked over.
It's a little bit suspect. It would be difficult.
Yeah. But his ego cannot take that, so he decides to, like, crash the prefector practice.
This amazed me, because I was like, in reality, he'd just be sent home immediately.
Yeah.
He'd be like, no.
But, the coach of Shiratorizawa, where this practice is taking place, is like, well, you could stick around, but you're going to be a ball boy, and you're never going to be anything else but a ball boy. So if you still want to stick around, have at it. And Hinata's very determined, and so he's like, hi, I'm Hinata, and I'm a ball boy. Please accept me, to, like, everybody else at the practice. You know, he screams it out.
Yeah.
I really liked Yuki Hayashi's musical score during that scene. It was really freaking good. Hayashi's music has been like a staple of this series. It's fantastic always, and it's one of the things that keeps me invested in the episodes, even when it's like not the most interesting thing happening. Like, his music is so good. And yeah, like, the second episode was sort of a down episode. It was more about just Hinata getting sort of yelled at by a bunch of people, one after the other, like his teammates, his coaches, even his rivals are like, what are you doing here as a ball boy? And all of this basically forces him to come to the realization that he needs to change. He needs to change his perspective to be able to move forward and improve as a volleyball player. And so that was pretty powerful. And I just think, like, the show just does such a good job on showing the, like, different angles and perspectives of the people around this whole volleyball thing, whether it's the coaches of Karasuno, or like the team managers, or the players on other teams, the coaches on other teams, and all of their different perspectives on what's happening.
There is no just boring character. They all have their own depth, which is really rare and unique.
Yeah, I'm just constantly it's just a really well-written, well-structured show. It constantly keeps your attention. It constantly keeps things moving forward, and people are improving constantly. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how Hinata and Kageyama both improve separately through these practices that they're going to. Like, Kageyama with the under-19 guys who are super good, and, like, obviously they'll test his, like, level if he can rise to them. And then Hinata's doing, like, just a lot of watching right now, so I assume he's going to have some kind of revelation through watching other people that he's never really had time to do before. And so I'm curious to see what that does. But I'm sure they're both going to get a power-up when they come back together. Yeah. So exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I really think we should cover this. It's one of the better shows of the season.
Super good.
Are you trying to make me shit on it? I mean, why? Why would you do that?
what, me liking something means you should shit on it?
No, making us watch it, knowing I won't like it.
I mean, that's the whole idea of a lock, I guess.
The idea of a lock is to piss off her.
No, it's to make people watch stuff.
This is true. This is true. Speaking of just one more music note, there's, like, a super sick bass guitar groove that plays in the practice between the Shiratorizawa seniors and the prefecture team in the second episode. I was just, like, listening to that and jamming out. It's such a good bass guitar lick. I loved it. Oh, man, the music in the show is great.
Yep.
So, with that, why don't we take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the second half of the podcast and the vote as well on the final shows that we will watch.
Ooh, I can't wait to see what happens.
I'm excited.
All right, we'll be back.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Hey, dude, you into anime, manga, and all that radical stuff?
Oh, yeah, man. It's tubular.
Then you should totally check out the...
This transmission has been hacked. If you want discussions, debate, reviews, and all in between, you must listen to the Anime Radicals Network at www.animeradicals.com. There's timely reviews, revolutions, mecha, and much more. Find it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all podcast catchers. The Anime Radicals Network.
The revolution will be simulcast.
Hi, I'm JD. your host of the Red Leaf Retrocast, your best location to learn, remember, and relive the past to the present. Our podcast has 4 shows for you to listen to between retro gaming, modern gaming, anime, and even wrestling. The Retro Gaming Cast covers discussion topics, and each episode we discuss retro games picked based on a decided theme for that episode, ranging from space all the way to console specials like the old handheld Game Boy. Our Modern Gaming Cast is monthly and covers video game titles that were released in that previous month. Each anime cast, we focus to review a retro anime each and every episode, like the original Mobile Suit Gundam to the racing hit Initial D. But that's not all. We also keep up with the seasonal shows, by occasionally doing impressions and reviews as well. Finally, our last show is about wrestling, where we keep the rising indie scene up to date, while also covering shows from the bigger promotions like Ring of Honor, New Japan, and WWE, so we cover it all. We also cover a retired wrestler every episode in what we call the Wrestler Spotlight, and are currently on a quest covering old WCW Thunder episodes from the late 90s, every cast. So if any one of those casts sound like something you'd like to check out, that's the Red Leaf Retrocast, Gaming, Anime, and Wrestling, found at iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and all your favorite podcasting sites. Also, you can learn, remember, and relive the past to the present. We can't wait to see you soon.
Hey, we made it back. Cat's awake. She just did not take an hour nap on us, and Bcom and I completely logged out waiting on her to come back.
I was exhausted. I slept 2 hours last night.
Because you were up all night getting crunk.
You're not now wrong. We're totally re-energized. We're fit to go. We're gonna plow straight through the rest of these anime.
Yes. So Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga is the next one, which it sounds to me sort of like a yummy breakfast cereal. This anime title.
Cinnamon Toast Nobunaga.
Yes, it's very delicious. I don't know. It's just basically, don't we have like a rule in this podcast where if it has anything to do with Nobunaga, it's just not going to be good?
I think that's just what we decided. Anime rule.
Yeah, we just decided this a while ago, and it's pretty accurate. This show is just a bunch of dogs that used to be generals in another life, reincarnated generals, and they're all somehow in the same part of Japan. You know, reincarnated. I was excited for the second episode because I guess I really need to look into Oda Nobunaga as a character, like as a historical figure more.
Sure, yeah.
Because I guess he was killed by like one of his vassals,
Mitsuhide or whatever.
Yeah, who was like very devoted to him. Mm-hmm. And in this, like he's supposed to have been reincarnated as a person, I guess, because he wasn't like as evil as Nobunaga is the idea, and so he would get a better reincarnation than Oda Nobunaga.
It's almost the exact same as Julius Caesar, and is it Brutus?
Yeah, A2 Brute.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, he's a person. Oda Nobunaga is a dog. They both are reincarnated. He sees Oda Nobunaga and is like, I'm in love with this dog, like, immediately, and is like, it kind of pursues the dog's owner because, you know, the girl who owns Nobunaga is like this cute little girl. Mm-hmm. So I thought it would be funny in terms of like, haha, like he's going to go after the girl to get to this dog and it's going to be weird. But it just wasn't as funny as it needed to be for me to continue to be excited about watching this. It's just kind of boring.
I think the most enjoyment I got out of this show was just the ED and then like the little skit at the end because they used footage of real life dogs in both of those, which were infinitely more adorable than the actual animated dogs in the show. So.
It's like your third yawn so far, Kat.
She's doing it. She's making it through. It's fine.
Man, look, you know, I'm trying.
It's Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga. When we get to a couple other shows from now, we'll wake up. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get through this next show. A destructive god sits next to me.
This is weird. This is weird and dumb. I don't understand. No. So, well, how would you describe this show, Bcom?
Well, the premise reminded me kind of that show called like Tonari no Seki-kun. Like basically like, you know, the seat desk next to like the neighbor at my desk next to me or whatever. I forget what the actual English translation is. But yeah, it's basically about a boy, and then he has basically a chunibyo who is constantly bothering him in class.
I felt awkward watching it. Like, I was really uncomfortable watching the show. Like I'm in the main character's shoes. I'm just like, this is not entertaining or funny at all. I don't. Just no.
I liked one part of the first episode a lot, and it was where they meet like a third kid, and they're in like a study session, and they find out that like this kid,
Utsugi?
I think that's Utsugi, and he like basically draws his like own little dojins to keep himself entertained. He also doesn't seemingly need to study because like he just seems to be very smart, like naturally smart. But yeah, like when they like sort of voice the manga that he has drawn, I laughed out loud at that. That was actually pretty hilarious. But like it was the only part of the episode that really drew me in at all. The rest of the humor with like the Chunibyo kid was just like the same kind of Chunibyo jokes that you see in any show that has a Chunibyo in it, which is a million different shows.
Yep.
So yeah, I also just didn't find this very funny, except for that one part. And the second episode I watched, and I also just was like, I don't see where this is going. I just don't think the humor is very well done here. And considering it's from the director of shows like Between the Sky and Sea, which is one of the worst things I've ever watched, I don't know. I don't have much faith in this, so yeah.
Yeah, no, it's. I was actually surprised at how little there is to this particular anime.
Yeah,
that way.
It's just like why. Yeah, it's that kind of show where you just ask why it's even happening.
Why it was even born.
Yeah,
it's one of those strange anime children where you look at it and you're like, what's wrong with you? Why were you thrust into this world? Like,
well, yeah.
There's just nothing. There's no reason why you should exist. How depressing would that be to turn to a child and be like, there's no reason why you should exist?
Yeah, that would be very mean. You should not do that.
Yeah. But I would do that if this anime was a small child. I'd be like, no. But
well, if your small child has a lot of questions, maybe there's an inanimate object that can answer them for you. Perhaps a wall of some sort. A mysterious wall. And that's in our next anime, 22/7, Nanabun no Nijuni, which is on Funimation.
There's so many different things I hate about this show, but go on.
Yeah, it's like an A1 Pictures show. It is a cross-promotional project for a real-life idol group. The director, Takao Abo, directed Rising of the Shield Hero, and also Nor 9, which is terrible. But yes, so it's a group of idol girls who, well, okay, they're not idols to start off with. They get an invitation to meet with someone at like a public zoo, and they go and meet this big guy who they mistake for a gorilla because he's so big and mean looking. And he's like, we want you to be idols. You have been pre-selected to become this idol group.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They mistook him for a gorilla? No, there was a literal gorilla in the zoo.
Yeah, but then one of the girls is like, he's a gorilla too. He's going to eat me.
Oh, is that Miyako?
No, it was Jun Toto, I think is her name. Toda, yeah.
Yeah, her. I hate her. She sucks so bad. She's immediately like, this gorilla's going to eat me. And I'm just like, can somebody please just put like a plastic bag over her head and tighten it down real quick?
The one that irritates me
so fucking
is
annoying.
The one that like it's like childish all the time. The one that acts like she's 5.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah. That's her.
Yeah, I'm always like, holy shit, stop it.
Yeah, out of all these girls, there's only one girl. There's probably 2 that I thought were okay. I think Akane's cool because she's the only one who seems to have a fucking head on her shoulders and not some like weird personality thing.
Yeah, the glasses girl. Yeah.
And then maybe Ayaka, who is at least smart enough to know to use her sex appeal to her advantage.
Oh yeah, she's the one who like shows off her legs a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, these are the only two who are doing anything that makes that shows that they're using their fucking brains.
Yes.
Basically was my huge thing about that.
So Leo, I know that you hate the main girl Mew because she's depressed and emo.
Yep.
But I do find her slightly interesting in that she really does not want to become an idol. Like it
but
is
is
like
now being forced to be an idol. Yeah.
Well, and also like she really sucks at her other job.
Well, she's forced because of her family's financial situation, basically.
That so and like her
and
other
the wall
job
commands it.
Well, and the wall commands it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and specifically, you said she sucks at her other job. No, she doesn't. She has an incompetent manager. You put her in the back of the fucking house because she can't deal with people.
Yeah, she can't
put
do
her
customer service.
I felt like that was just done somehow by the company to get her to like come back.
Oh, I mean, it's possible that they like told the manager to fire her. I guess. I don't know.
But what they showed, she worked. She did good work. She kept working the whole time. They even had a specific scene of her doing stocking in the back. And I'm just like, put her back there permanently. You got somebody who can do the fucking job. Why would you get rid of her? Just don't put her in the front of the house. Come on.
That's a fair point. Yeah, some jobs are stupid and they expect everyone to be able to do everything. And that's just not, some people aren't fit for like customer service.
Nah, I will take the one person who can do like the one thing really well, other than the one person who can do everything mediocre.
I can see that. Yeah.
I honestly don't think she needed to have the social skills to have the job she had. I feel like they were just picking on her and being unnecessarily harsh.
Yeah, didn't they say like the other girls found her like weird or unnerving or something like that?
Yeah, and, like people didn't like that she wouldn't smile at them and stuff like that. Yeah.
But really the main part of the show is just like because they have all these like in a lot of ways incompetent young girls. They all are trying to be in this idol group that was formed. We don't know why.
Yeah.
And they just put them in this room and are like, the wall commands that you be an idol group. And every time the wall commands something, then we must do it. And the wall like spits out these dumb like gold tablet things.
They're basically stamps. They're stamps.
It's so good.
Before
they're
you
in a cult, basically.
Before you even get to the wall, I'm sitting here and all these girls follow a man who has clearly more strength than all of them put together into a dark tunnel.
Which is like underneath the zoo.
I'm just like, you all deserve to die for making these decisions. You are so stupid.
Yeah, I know. They really are kind of dumb.
They want to be famous, Leo. They got to do it.
Not me.
Yeah, Mew was not into it. I did like Nicole, how she just is the first one to follow the guy. Because she's like, well, all right, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm here for.
I'm going to go in this dark tunnel and get raped and probably sold into the sex slave trade. And, but hey, it's worth being an idol, right?
Now there's a first-class idols facility underneath this zoo for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun because of the mystery of what the hell is the wall. And I guess like basically as it goes on, each girl gets sort of a focus episode as you would expect from any idol show. I really like Mew's voice actor because she does not sound like an anime voice actor at all. She sounds very like reserved and like pensive. Some of the other girls in the show just sound like normal anime character, but
it also looks like this is her first role ever.
Yeah, and for a lot of them it is, or it's like one of a few roles that they've done because they were basically formed to be this idol group. So I don't know. It's just like so weird to think like, I'm going to make a real life idol group and we're going to make an anime to go along with it. And the anime is going to have a wall that orders the girls to do whatever they have to do. Like a cult wall.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
I will say that sounds crazy, but then you're like, but this came from a Japanese company. And I go, well, that doesn't sound so crazy anymore.
Makes sense. Par for the course.
Kind of modern.
Yeah, they would do that, wouldn't they? Yeah.
It does. I was like, actually sold me that a Japanese company is doing this. So it sounds like them.
Yeah.
I'm just curious whether this is just a Wizard of Oz situation where there is a man pulling the strings behind this wall, or if we're actually supposed to believe this wall is like some spiritual entity.
It's funny enough that like I kind of want to watch the other episodes, but I'm not going to watch them entirely. Like I'm going to skip like a minute or
find
two
out
here
what
and
the
there.
fuck the wall is.
What the fuck is with the wall?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'll definitely watch the whole show just to find out what the hell is going on with the wall, or for sure. And because I like some of the characters, they're pretty fun.
They all suck. Why can you say that?
I like Mew, and I like Nicole, and also actually Sakura is really fun.
I think it's entertaining overall. I think it could turn really dark and like depressing, or it could be really funny, or it could honestly go back and forth between, and it would be interesting.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. The next show is totally little show that's flown under the radar, not controversial at all.
No, not at all.
Also very wholesome, just as wholesome as Nekopara, really. It's Interspecies Reviewers, which used to be on Funimation for a couple episodes.
Yeah, I saw that there's Funimation on here, and I'm like, formally?
From Studio...
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So okay, what exactly caused Funimation to dump this anime? Let's just get it out there.
It turned out it was basically a hentai.
Well, but like the first 2 episodes, I mean, they do sexual stuff, but it's not a hentai.
So the 3rd episode is the one that they had a lot of issues with. And first of all, like Leo says, the manga for this, right, does not have explicit sexual scenes in it at all.
It's always they insinuate it, or you like see the person go into the room with the elf lady, and then they sort of talk about it afterwards. There's nothing, you don't see anything.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I thought that was a okay way to do it.
But then the anime did not do that.
Yeah, especially in episode 3. There's a couple things that happened in episode 3. One is, all right, so episode 3 is all about basically, well, first of all, just to give you the basic essence of what the show is, there's a bunch of people, they live in a world that has like all sorts of different like, you know, monsters, like Monster Musume world, basically.
Just can you give me the title of an episode?
So yeah, episode 3, gender swap sex means less suck you girl choices, and it kind of hurts, but you learn just what girls feel, so you should give it a try. So yeah, episode 3 is all about like these characters. These characters go around reviewing different like brothels, basically, with different types of monster girls,
and that's all they do in the manga.
Yeah,
that's it. There's no visuals, no nothing. I mean, like, you get to see the girl, but you don't get to see them in dressed or in a sexual act of any kind.
So episode 3 has various like points where I feel like it could have crossed a line for Funimation. One part of it is that one of the main reviewer characters is a halfling. And they say in this episode that the halfling has the appearance of a child, and he does. And so when he gets gender swapped, he decides to have sex with a halfling girl. And there's a very explicit sexual scene that looks like 2 children having sex with each other. So that's one place where I could see Funimation being like, oh, hell no, we didn't want this.
Yeah. As a company, you're just like, yeah.
You're like, no, we didn't want that.
We got to get away from this.
So the second scene where I could see them having a problem is the sex scene between the elf guy who has, you know, had a gender swap to an elf girl and has sex with a slime. The slime gets all up into different orifices. Like, there's a slime tentacle down her mouth. There's a slime tentacle that you can see is moving inside of, like, her stomach, basically.
So, it's been a while since I read the manga. I'm not sure how much of that is actually shown in the manga also, but I do not remember it. So, maybe not.
There's also, like, a pretty wet orgasm in a previous scene with like the other main guy who orgasms as a girl and just like sprays all over the place. And then the final one that I could see possibly having an issue with is just there's when they get gender swapped, they're at this like gender swap hotel, and then they try to like go to leave the place, and the owner's like, you cannot leave. And the reason why is because somebody in the past had gender swapped to a girl, went out, seduced a man, had sex with them, and then woke up in the morning gender changed again back to their original man gender, and the person who they slept with like obviously freaked out. And so this is like a very just trans panic-y story that, you know. So I could see Funimation having issues with that as well. So for all of these reasons,
let's be real. That's not why. Yeah, but
I doubt that's the reason. I think it could be one of the straws that breaks the camel's back, and Funimation and also Anime MX in Japan both dropped this show. So yeah, I don't know. It's honestly, though, if you go into it with the expectations that this is just like a really, really like dirty ecchi or like borderline hentai, the show is actually kind of fun. Like,
it is. I think it is. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of laughs out of it. There's a lot of like funny things.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's, I don't know, a lot of the stuff, like that whole episode 3, despite being not what Funimation wanted on their service at all, is actually pretty fun to think about, with like the gender swapping to have sex with and feel like you're a woman, which we were talking about at the beginning of this podcast when we introduced the show.
It's an interesting idea that I think everyone has thought in some, time in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in Kat's case, about every other day.
But no, I think it's actually a really interesting show. It's not something you see that often. I mean, if it was like every, season we got one of these, they would get old fast, but it's just not that common to have them. So
yeah, there haven't been too many like explicit monster girl shows since Monster Musume, and some of the encounters they have in this show feel like they take things a lot farther than that show even did. So I'm thinking of like the cow
Monster
girls
Musume never goes
particular.
farther than just like groping and rubbing.
Yeah, or like Poppy Lane and Egg is like the lasting image of I have of that show. But yeah. So I don't know, yeah, I kind of have fun with this, even though it's like borderline hentai. And maybe this director just gets me, Yuki Ogawa, because they made Miru Tights, which I also loved, and was just blatantly fetishistic show about girls' thighs, and like I think this director just gets it, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting. Like I could see it being very entertaining to cover. Mm-hmm. It's a very popular show this season. It's funny.
Yeah, it's especially popular since people got angry at Funimation for whatever reason for dropping it. Obviously, it's understandable why Funimation dropped it, but yeah, who knows? And now it's like shot up the charts on my anime list, and it's the most popular show of the season according to that, which is hilarious.
It is hilarious. I think it's funny that like now it's really popular. It's yeah, so for sure.
All right, one last show. We have Inspector, which is airing on Crunchyroll.
Oh boy,
this is a brains-based show, and director Keiji Goto directed like End Ride, which is really bad. But this is I think this is better than End Ride. I'll say that for it. So, what do you guys think?
So, okay, this show, I was immediately captivated by the first like 5 minutes of the opening, of the like intro of the story.
Sure.
Ooh, yeah. I'll disagree because within the first minute they do the goat thing, and I immediately fucking hated it.
The goat thing where she falls in love with the guy because he reminds her of a goat. Is this first love?
Because it reminds her of like a goat, and like both his horns are like demon horns, and I'm just like, fuck this show. Like,
goats are really admirable.
Immediately uninvested, and this is I checked as we were finishing the last thing we were talking about that it happens in the first minute.
It does happen really early, yeah.
That's interesting. But no, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, this girl fell in love with this dude. She's been in love with him for years. Like, it's kind of an interesting story, even though it's whatever.
She's so aggressive, though.
I like that about her, actually. I like that she's so straightforward about what she wants.
I would like that, but then, and I do like her because of it, same as you, Bcom. But like, if you do it like a gender swap, it's super fucking creepy.
Yeah, I will say I get irritated by how aggressive she is towards him. Like, it just becomes obnoxious. It's like a joke that they just keep hitting over and over, and it's not funny again anymore after the first 20 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I could see, like, there are certain demographics who really like that kind of thing. That whole, like, the girl is very aggressive, she keeps coming after me type thing.
Yeah.
They will like the show. I think that the actual story of, like, her becoming this yokai god is interesting. I like that dynamic. I like his dynamic as, like, this unknown yokai hybrid thing. It's interesting. The only part of the show that I really don't like is the whole she's, like, pursuing him constantly thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the big feeling I got from this show was like the creator, he was just trying way too hard to make it interesting. Like he was doing more than what he was actually capable of. And like, I just feel like you just kind of get flooded with like I think the concepts are good, but they're being overdone. Whoever makes this, he or she. It's just too much. Mm-hmm. It's, if that makes sense to you guys.
Well, I was like fine with the first episode, but then the second episode, she tries to deal with this like serpent at a lake and spends like the entire episode monologuing. And I was just saying, man, this voice actress should get paid double for this show. Because it was just the entire episode was basically a monologue by her, or talking with this snake, but recounting the whole history of this situation with this serpent. And man, I couldn't have been more bored about that. But I don't know. I also just don't think that the main guy, Kuro, has that much chemistry with this girl. Perhaps because she's younger than him by quite a few years and also looks even younger than she supposedly is. I mean, he even says you look like a middle school girl when she's apparently 17. But yeah, she just kind of looks a lot to me like Cardcaptor Sakura, actually, because she's got the same hat and like the same kind of clothes that she wears. But yeah, I don't know. I like her attitude. I can see why you have a problem with her just constantly being pushy with this guy and going after him. But I like that she's confident in herself, at least, even if she is a bit of a stalker.
A bit?
Yeah.
Like
a lot of a stalker. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't really find Kuro that interesting. I mean, I guess it was cool that he can like basically repair his limbs. He gets his arm bit off by an Ayakashi demon, and then the demon dies because his arm is poisonous to that demon.
Well, he's so careless about it. He's just like, well, I'll let it bite my arm off, whatever. And it's like,
I'm so cool.
Sure that would hurt.
This is funny to me, but the voice actress for the main girl, Akari Kito, is also the voice actress for Nezuko from Demon Slayer. So that means some of her stuff is just
she's good at making those noises. Yeah. It's as much as she got muzzled in that show, she talks like crazy in this one. So
she's got a bunch of other stuff also, but like that one was just really funny to me.
She's making up for all that time she was silent in Demon Slayer. Oh man. So yeah, and that show, I think it's all right. It's cute at times. I think it's really boring at others, but it's decent, I would say.
It can be cute. Yes.
Yeah. All right, that is finally all of the anime that we're covering this season, or that we have talked about.
Holy shit! So much anime.
And a lot of it not that good. This is the saddest season I've seen in a while.
It's a light season. It's like the junk food of seasons, I would say.
Next season is looking pretty heavy, so I'm all right with having a light season going into that one. We'll see.
Yeah.
But, even though it's late, it is now time to vote on what we think the top 8 shows that we're gonna watch together this season, this winter.
Awesome! I'm excited.
So as usual, we'll come to a consensus by voting on the top 5 that we'll all follow together and, rotate reviews on basically between the 3 of us. Then we each get one show to lock, which means that even if our co-hosts didn't necessarily want to watch it, they now have to watch it. Though only the person who picked that show has to review it. And so, we'll cover these shows an episode at a time on a weekly basis and stay as close to the airing time as we can, given our schedules. And We may end up making mid-season cuts on certain shows if we feel like we made a huge, terrible mistake by choosing one of them. And so we'll have an opportunity to change them out after episode 6. And also, if any of our listeners feel like, hey, you should definitely be watching this, or hey, that show that you didn't pick up got way better a couple episodes in, feel free to contact us on Twitter or YouTube or on Discord and let us know. And we'll definitely take that into consideration. With all that said, let's move on to our individual top 10s for this season from 10 to 1. Should I go first? All right.
Sure.
I guess I usually
you can
do.
go first. Yeah.
All right. At number 10, I have Majia Record, the Madoka side story, which I think is pretty solid. At number 9, surprisingly, I have My Hero Academia Season 4.
Oh, shit.
That is surprising for you.
Yeah, that's very surprising.
I've thought that they've been doing a much better job this season than the past couple. So I wouldn't have minded covering this for sure. Number 8, much better show than both Madoka and My Hero Academia is called Nekopara.
Oh, what a fucking asshole.
What's wrong with you?
What? I don't understand you, Bcom.
I don't know how that's better than Smile Down the Runway, which is behind those. What the fuck, man?
Oh, Nekopara would be so much fun to cover.
It really would not be. It would be. It's a show about slaves, Bcom. I thought you hated those.
But maybe they rise up and take over. Maybe the cats run the little patisserie shop someday.
You know what? I haven't seen it. I know nothing about it, but guess what? It's probably not going to happen.
It's definitely not happening. Oh, okay. Number 7, I have 22/7. It's just a fairly promising idol show, and I like idol shows. So, yeah. Number 6, Id Invaded. That one was interesting. Number 5, Dorohedoro, which...
Woo!
So, okay, my only concern about this one is that it's a Netflix show, and that, like, maybe the subs won't be the best, but I just think this show is too good to pass up, basically. Number 4, Beaufry, otherwise known as Rising of the Shield Girl, which is a very good show. Number 3, Keep Your Hands Off Aizaken, Yuasa's show. Number 2, Haikyu to the Top. And number 1, Chihaya Furu 3, obviously.
Oh, whatever. Whatever, Bcom. I don't know. Okay, so my top picks in order. Number 10, I Inspector. 9, Smile Down the Runway. I did like that show.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. The 8, Magica Record. I also really liked that one. So, yeah. 7, Pet. I think I'm the only one who put Pet on this list at all, which is interesting.
Leo has it on his list, I believe.
It's on mine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Because I was like, well, I don't know. It's a pretty good show.
For me, like, the thing there was just, like, I felt It Invaded was basically the same show, but better in a lot of ways. That was my reason for leaving it off.
Funny. That was kind of the same thing. I just felt like the other show was whatever it was doing was better.
Yeah.
They're very different, but I know what you mean. They have, like, a similar feel.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah. 6, 22/7. I think that this would be different. Interesting and different. Like, I think it would be fun from week to week to try to cover it, honestly.
Well, there's a weird supernatural element that's been suddenly added to this idol group with the fucking wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, like, it's not, like, crazy supernatural, but it's just weird enough. You're like, what the fuck is going on with this?
What is going to happen to these poor girls?
If it was really dark and weird and off the wall, I will really enjoy it. If it ends up being just like dumb and complacent, then I will get bored with the show.
Yeah.
But I'm excited enough that I put it up there. 5, I've got Beaufry. I do really like that show. Obvious.
So
yeah. 4, ID Invaded. It's interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Id. Get it right,
ID
Id.
invaded. ID
Id.
invaded, motherfucker. Fuck you.
There would be a fucking decimal in there if it was supposed to be ID.
Whatever. Keep Your Hands Off Aiko-zen. I think it may be weird to cover it from week to week, but it's a really good show objectively. 2, I've got Interspecies Reviewers. I just think it'll be funny. I know
So
you guys
high.
are weird.
That's so
I know you
fucking
guys
high.
are weird and think this is dumb. I think it'll be
I don't
entertaining.
think it's dumb. I think it crosses some lines occasionally. Like the halfling sex was like a line crossing thing, but it's objectively really funny. So I can't deny that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be entertaining to talk about week to week. And then Haikyu to the top is my number one. It's an amazing show. I love Haikyu. Holy shit, Haikyu.
Hell yeah.
So, yes.
Wow. Okay. I couldn't even make a top 10. I could only make a top 9.
Oh, you're so dramatic.
No, it was like I wrote down, I told you guys this earlier, but I wrote down all the shows I felt entertaining, realized I only had 9. So that's what I went with. So at number 9, the Magia Record show.
Okay.
Number 8, Keep Your Hands Off, Aizio-kun, Ken, whatever you want to call it. The thing about that show that I like is that it's exploring the process of making an anime, which I love, but I kind of dislike a lot of everything else that's going on, the way it's animated, even the character designs, like the tall girl, like I feel offended by her design. I don't know why.
Offended? Is it her like freckle to teeth ratio?
I think it's like the buck teeth they gave her. I think it's the buck teeth. Like, I'm really big on the teeth. Like, I don't care how hot you are. If you got jacked up teeth, don't even bother talking to me.
I kind of like her look.
Number 7 is Pet. If she didn't have the buck teeth, I think I'd be fine. Number 6 is Satan Academy. I'm the only one who has that on there.
I don't even understand how that's on your list, Leo. You're a strange one.
Because I think it's actually kind of funny. We like the one voice actor, which is the Fox girl, and I commend it for its accuracy on animal behaviors. Weird animal behaviors that most people don't know about. Number 5, Smile Down the Runway, which probably sounds really crazy coming from me.
Yeah,
but it's a fast-paced drama. They're positive most of the time. Even when they get in a slump, they get out of it super quick. So, yeah, cool. I like that.
Okay.
Number 4, Somali and the Forest Spirit. Probably should have ranked that lower, actually, on my list. Number 3, It Invaded. Notice I said it right there, Kat.
Oh, wow.
Number
Fuck
2.
You.
Number 2, Beaufry. Because that's an actually pretty entertaining show. And number 1, Chi-Hi-Fu. No, I'm fucking kidding. It's Dorohedoro. I really love Dorohedoro. That's the one show out of my entire list that I just really want to watch the next episode. I want to know what's going on. And I saw, I can't remember, somebody said in our chats that they liked how the characters are all, they're thick and muscular in a way. Not even muscular, but they're just thicker characters. And I'm like, I didn't realize it, but that is also a reason why I do like it also.
Oh, interesting.
It's because their character designs are very different from any other part of anime. And that's awesome.
As
that
part of really it
awesome.
being come from sort of an older manga as well, as it's just the character designs feel like they come from a different time and place, and not that they're bad or I like them too. I think they're pretty interesting.
I like how they're different. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so based on that, we have a top 5 consensus picks. I guess I'll read them off. Number 5, Dorohedoro makes it.
Interesting.
Number 4, Keep Your Hands Off Aizio-kun. And then numbers 3 and 2 were tied in average rank. So It
kind of
Invaded.
Bizarre.
Yeah. It Invaded and Haikyu to the top, both perfectly equal shows.
Yeah, interesting. That's weird because really to me Haikyu is such a higher quality show.
Well, yeah, but, you and I had it ranked very high, and Leo
and I didn't have it ranked at all.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, I like them both. They're good.
And then number 1, averaging a much higher rank than basically anything else, was Beaufry, which, yeah, I mean, I think it's the most fun show of the season, honestly. So
it's cute, it's light, it's fun. Yeah.
All right. So that means that this time around, we got to get to our locks, and the order this time is Leo, and then Kat, and then I close it out.
Oh no!
You're so obvious what yours will be too. So it's easy.
Indeed, it's probably pretty obvious.
So what would you like to do, Leo?
Well, my top 3 made it. And basically from there on, it's just kind of like whatever. Mm-hmm. We're going to go with Seton Academy.
I figured that.
What?
What'd you think I was going to pick, Kat?
Well, I mean, you did go. How many spots down your list did you go?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe Smile Down the Runway. Or
I think it'd be really fun to talk about Academy.
it's so trash. I don't understand.
And speaking of trash, Kat, what's your lock going to be?
It's not even entertaining trash. That's the thing. God damn it. Fine. I'll do Interspecies Reviewers. You guys are weird and dumb.
Oh, we're covering the trash this season. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That means you got to pick trash next. Bcom, you can't pick Chihai.
Oh, yeah. I definitely, let's see. Let's go with Nekopara. No. I think by popular demand, the people of the Discord especially demanded that I continue with Chihaya Furu 3 against
which was
all
hilarious.
odds.
Which was hilarious to me because I was like, guys, do you really think he's not going to lock it?
Oh,
like,
I know.
what the fuck?
It's dumb.
I don't know.
Have fun talking about it while we sit back and go, really, Bcom, that's interesting.
I mean, I think our listeners are going to need a fucking reprieve from Interspecies Reviewers and join the pack.
Oh, they're going to fucking love it. Don't even lie. Join the pack, I think, will be boring to cover.
I think that will be fun because we will learn a new, interesting quirk about animals that we didn't know before every week.
Oh, man.
Oh, just like Kimono Friends or something. You're just going to learn about animals.
Sure.
There's so many animal shows this season. It's kind of insane.
A little bit.
I'm sad that 22/7 doesn't get in there, but I will say
sad too.
A little view of the future. I do think the show sort of has started to fall into what you were worried about, Kat. That it becomes a little bit just like a normal idol show at times. But I don't know. I still am finding it interesting. There still is the underlying mystery, but I think it is sort of starting to fall into like the normal idol stuff at this point, like a couple more episodes in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because I was like, if it was different enough, I would be excited to cover it. But if it's just going to be an idol show that has this weird quirk to it, it probably won't be that great. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, Kat really needs to go to sleep. So.
I mean, yeah.
That's it. So we'll be back with a new episode very soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Detailing
I think
3.
this will be a low pressure season, and just in terms of the shows are not super like highbrow. It's a lot of just kind of popcorn type anime this season. It'll be fun to cover. We'll have a lot of fun with it. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
You guys should be too. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube to get updates on new podcasts or videos. You can also find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher, and follow us on Twitter at Nerdom and Other for updates as well. Come hang out on our Discord with the link in the description. And hey, I mean, we're going to come out with episode 3 very, very soon. I'm excited. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Yep, later.